Hey, what is going on, Twintendo Nation? Hope you're having an awesome day. Now, a couple of years ago, I looked into very obscure Pokémon with my top 10 exclusive Pokémon video, and I thought I'd like to revisit that by expanding on this previous video and look at it in 3 different categories: anime, manga, and game exclusive Pokémon. So starting off this mini Pokémon series, we'll be looking at Pokémon that exclusively appear in the Pokémon anime. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the like button down below to show your support and that you'd like to see more videos like this on the channel. And if you want to stay up to date with all things Pokemon, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit the subscribe button to become a part of the Twintendo Nation. Now before we start, I want to say a big thank you to Amino for sponsoring today's video. Amino has sponsored me multiple times in the past, and it's nice to be working again with them. For those who don't know what Amino is, it's a social media app you can get on either iOS and Android, and it basically allows you to join and take part in multiple different communities. So for example, you can find me in the Pokemon, Pokemon Go, and Animal Crossing Amino communities. Now, a new thing that Amino have introduced are stories, which are bite-sized 1 to 2 minute videos. I've currently made a few stories over there, with one of them being the top 5 Pokemon I want to return for Pokemon Sword and Shield. If you want to check it out and give me a follow, make sure to check the link out in the description. Sometimes I'll have video ideas that aren't quite long enough for YouTube, so expect a few little videos over there every now and then. So like I said, download Amino from the link in the description and make sure to give me a follow over there to keep up to date with all my Amino stories. Now without further ado guys, let's start today's video. Starting us off is the first ever alternate coloured Pokemon, which made its first appearance before shiny Pokemon were even a thing. This is Pink Butterfree, which made its first appearance in the legendary Pokemon episode Bye Bye Butterfree, which by the way I'm still not over. For the longest time I assumed Butterfree's shiny was pink, and I know I wasn't the only one to think that, but as we know, Pink Butterfree is an anime original design. Still, since it is an alternate coloured Pokemon, I'd still class Pink Butterfree as a shiny to some extent. Now Pink Butterfree has made a few anime appearances since its first appearance 20 years ago. Yes, that makes me feel very old. It appeared alongside Ash's Butterfree in a few flashbacks down the years, and it also made an appearance in the 20th Pokemon movie I Choose You, which was a retelling of Ash's journey. Now what's interesting about its appearance in I Choose You is that for the first time Pink Butterfree has female characteristics, like the black markings on the wings. Like shiny forms, since Pink Butterfree was introduced before gender differences were a thing, there was a lot of debate as to whether it was a male or female. But after 20 years, we finally got our answer. Also, just want to mention that Pink Butterfree technically does appear in Pokemon manga, however since it's just a manga about the I Choose You movie, and not something original, I see Pink Butterfree as an anime exclusive Pokemon, and I'm sure you guys agree with me on that. Next up is our first look at Pokemon Fusion, and yes, this happened way before Black and White Kyurem was a thing. This is of course Venusaur. Now like I mentioned earlier, I've made a few videos on this topic before, and I never covered Venusaur, and I had a lot of requests to do so. So Venusaur, as their name implies, is a fusion between Venusaur and Blastoise, and it appeared in the Pokemon episode The Ghost of Maiden's Peak. It was the 20th Pokemon episode, and coincidentally was the episode before Bye Bye Butterfree. Now this episode featured a talking Ghastly, basically the villain of the episode, and it could create illusions that could attack people. Now Venusaur actually technically wasn't the weirdest thing, since it actually created a mongoose-like animal, not even a Pokemon, which kind of throws in a lot of debate as to what the Pokemon world is, and it is a very weird concept. But anyway, we're going to talk about Venusaur instead. So, Ghastly could create illusions that could attack people, and since Ash sent out his Squirtle and Bulbasaur to battle the Ghastly, it made an illusion of Venusaur and Blastoise appear against these Pokemon, and then Ghastly combined them together to create Venusaur, which honestly isn't the worst designed Pokemon out there. I think it actually looks quite good. Now unfortunately we don't get to see much of Venusaur in this episode since it kind of just appears for like 10 seconds, but it was the first look at potential Pokemon fusion, and we've only really seen that a handful of times with Black and White Kyurem, as well as Necrozma's Duskmane and Dawnwing's form, which is obviously a combination of Solgaleo and Lunala. Now I'm fairly confident that one day down the line, I don't know how far this will be, but I think Pokemon Infusion will happen on a large scale, kind of like a new gimmick similar to Mega Evolution and what we got at the moment with Dynamax and Gigantamax. But I do think Pokemon Fusion will happen, and I think Venusaur would be a great addition, and it's definitely one of the first, if not the first, Pokemon Fusion we've ever seen. Coming in at number 3, like Venusaur, there was another heavily requested Pokemon to cover, And now is a perfect time to talk about it for sure, since it's kind of made its debut last week in Pokemon Go, and this is Armored Mewtwo, but more specifically the original Armored Mewtwo from the first season of Pokemon. So I've never really considered Armored Mewtwo its own Pokemon, since it's kind of just Mewtwo with some extra armor, but since this was so heavily requested last time, I thought I'd look into it for you guys. I mean, I guess if Ash's Pikachu wearing different hats in Pokemon Sun and Moon can be considered its own Pokemon, then Armored Mewtwo can too. So for those who don't know Armored Mewtwo, it's essentially just Mewtwo from the first Pokemon movie, and it wears a sort of robotic suit that controls its powers, but also helps focus them. I'd also assume that whilst wearing that armor it gains a significant defense boost, as the armor is only really destroyed by Mewtwo in its rage when it takes off from Team Rocket's base. Now this year, with the CGI remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back, Armored Mewtwo got a redesign, and in my opinion it looks awful. Like, it's so bad. There is far too much going on, and it just doesn't look right to me. I absolutely love Armored Mewtwo's original design, as it makes Mewtwo look even stronger and adds a sense of mystery to Mewtwo as its face is hidden away by its helmet. Now I'll be honest, if Armored Mewtwo wasn't heavily requested from my previous videos, I probably wouldn't have included it, as it is debatable as to whether it can be considered an exclusive Pokemon, but like I said, I've always really wanted to talk about it. It was heavily requested, and yeah, if this was like a Pokemon that got added to the Pokemon games, it was Mewtwo, but it always have its armor on, I would always use this over regular Mewtwo. I absolutely love its design. Just missing out on the number 1 spot is a Pokemon that also appeared in one of the Pokemon movies. This is Virus Groudon, which is also known as False Groudon. Either way, whatever it's called, it's the same Pokemon. Well, I say Pokemon, but this is definitely borderline as to whether it is or not. But since we've had so many strange Pokemon down the years like the Ultra Beasts, it wouldn't surprise me if this thing can be actually classed as a Pokemon. So for simplicity's sake, let's just say it is a Pokemon. So what Virus Groudon essentially is a gigantic, evil mutated form of Groudon that was created using a fossil of Groudon, which makes me think, is there more than one Groudon, or is it just like a shard or a piece of DNA that's fallen off just the regular Groudon we know? And it's also formed with Jirachi's power from the Millennium Comet. If you've seen the 6th movie, Jirachi Wishmaker, you'll understand what I'm on about. So whilst this Groudon does look familiar to its original counterpart, it's pure evil that can use weird tentacle things that can absorb the Earth's energy, as well as absorbing Pokemon in the process. It's thought that since this Groudon was created from Jirachi and Butler, who's essentially the main antagonist of the 6th Pokemon movie, since he's kind of got so many selfish wishes and desires, it's believed that it's a manifestation of pure evil because of, Jirachi's powers fusing with Butler's evil intentions. Thankfully, Jirachi is on hand to defeat Virus Groudon by completely obliterating it with its signature move, Doom Desire, which is a good thing because it looked like Virus Groudon was probably going to take over the world. It just toppled over everything. Like, this is like a big Pokemon that you occasionally see in the Pokemon anime, but obviously Gigantamax and Dynamax is kind of normalizing that now. But this thing looked very impossible that it was going to be taken down, especially since it was absorbing more energy. But it's a very cool design. It's basically Groudon, but a bit more evil. Apart from the tentacles are a bit weird. That is something I'm not too keen on, I would say. But it is a living thing, so whether that makes it a full-fledged Pokemon, I'm not too sure. But I still wanted to give it a mention because it is a very interesting concept. So let me know in the comments, do you think Virus Groudon should be considered a Pokemon or not? Coming in at number 1 is my favourite Pokemon fusion we've seen so far. And this is Magquaza, which is a fusion of Mismagius and Rayquaza, or Rayquaza. I've always called it Rayquaza. I know there's going to be a lot of debate in the comments, and I probably shouldn't have started this, but it doesn't really matter. Just call it however you want. But this bizarre Pokemon appeared in the Diamond and Pearl episode Malice in Wonderland, and like Venustoys from earlier, it's an illusion created by Mismagius this time, not Ghastly. So basically, what happens in the episode, Ash, Dawn and Brock are sent into a dreamlike world by Mismagius, who has used hypnosis on them, and when they try to escape, a Rayquaza comes out the ground and merges with Mismagius to create Magquaza. Now, Magquaza takes the colour scheme of Mismagius and basically its other features as well, like the red orbs on its chest and kind of like it has spiky bits on its face that normally aren't there. And I remember watching this episode on TV when it first aired, and I was so shocked. I was just like, where is this episode going for a start? Because it is actually a really good episode. And then just seeing a purple Rayquaza flying after Ash, Dawn and Brock, It's very, very weird, but at the same time, I didn't watch many episodes of Diamond and Pearl, but this is the one that really stands out to me, and I just really enjoyed this episode. So the reason why I placed this at number 1 is the fact that it's such an unlikely combination of Pokemon. So Venusaur and Blastoise with Venusaur obviously kind of makes sense since they're both Generation 1 starters, but Miss Magius and Rayquaza? I would never have guessed that would be a possibility. So if Pokemon Fusion does eventually happen on a wide scale like I mentioned earlier, I really hope that we see this Pokemon, as I'd love to see its potential. So guys, those are my top 5 anime exclusive Pokemon. I probably could have included a few more. I know some people are going to be wondering where like Crystal Onyx is. I was tempted to put that one in, but I kind of wanted to talk about like Virus Groudon, obviously Armored Mewtwo, because I've never really talked about that. And yeah, there's a lot of interesting Pokemon. I might have been able to make this a top 10. But yeah, these are the 5 that I really wanted to talk about. So guys, if you did enjoy today's video, a like is super appreciated. It lets me know that you want to see more videos like this, and of course it helps support the channel. And if you want to stay up to date with everything Pokemon and Animal Crossing, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below to become a part of the Twintendo Nation. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you on the next video. Peace!